Hey everyone, I hope you caught us at the end of the 5 o'clock news because we teased ahead to the fact that I would be telling you exactly what we told you in the piece before about how to disable your digital spies, which I was really surprised to learn that your phone is not just tracking where you are, because we know sometimes your phone knows where you are, but it was keeping a log, an actual physical log that anybody can access if they have your phone, exactly how long you were somewhere, where you were, down to the minute. To a lot of people, this is really frightening. You don't want this kind of information to end up in the wrong hands. And the whole reason is that, you're the gold that data mining marketers are looking for, so you really have to protect yourself on your phone. We had some questions come in about how to do it before, so I just want to walk you through this. Go to your settings, which is that little gear, and then you hit privacy, location services, C minor on. Now location services has to be on for certain things, like if you're Yelping a restaurant, or if you want Uber to pick you up, or you're trying to get Google Maps to get you someplace. That's the reason that location services has to be on. If you don't need it on for those reasons, just click it off. But that's not all on the iPhone. Once you turn off your location services, there's another layer to this onion. You think you might be off, but you're really not. See where it says share my location? Go to that. That sometimes can be on as well. So you have to turn that off too. So sometimes you can think you're keeping your phone from being tracked, but those are the two steps you have to go through. Another thing that we wanted to show people was that very startling thing about where your advertising is popping up. So again, on your privacy settings, just go to the bottom here. You'll see something that says advertising. This is that weird thing that happens. Did you ever walk past a yogurt place and then all of a sudden you're on your phone or on your Facebook and an ad pops up for yogurt and you're just like, how did they know I was in front of the yogurt place? It's because your phone's following you because your location services are on. So you can also enable limit ad tracking. If you limit your ad tracking, it's not saying you're going to get less ads. You're going to get less targeted ads, which might make you feel like Big Brother is watching you less, hopefully. So make sure that that's on. That will limit your advertising. There's also another way to control your location. But first I want to show you where that scary thing was that shows you where you are. Again, if you want to see, it's under privacy at the bottom. Wait, excuse me. Settings, privacy, location services, and then go down to system settings. Where is it? Oh, you have to turn it on. Okay, so you're on your location services and go down to system settings, system services. Click on that. And do you see where it says frequent locations? You want to make sure that's off. If that's on, that's when it starts keeping the digital log of every place that you've been. So make sure that that's off. And I'll show you here what we saw before I disabled mine. Here was the screen that comes up. It showed where I was, places we've gone for stories. It also showed all the way back to spring break, that we were down in Miami. And the scary thing to me was that once you clicked on a place, look what comes up. How much time you spent in those places. So not just where you are, but how long you spent there. Now think about that if you have an employer that maybe you have a work phone on and you said your meeting ran long and really you were getting a manicure, or any other reason where you don't want people following where you are. That's why you want to turn that off. And that's just under frequent locations and disable that.
Nina, can I interrupt you for a sec?
Sure.
Because we're getting a lot of people that are thanking you for this information, and some are, I think, wanting to hear it over again. We'll get to that. But is this only for iPhone?
No. In the piece, we talked also about Android, and thank you. That's Sarah Swish. She's holding the camera. She's our digital producer. So Sarah's helping us with this. It's not just for iPhone, it's for Android. And actually, iPhone has a little bit more protections because Android, just by its operating software, some of that is already allowed through Android. iPhone, you have some area where you can switch it off, but a lot of the operating system of Android already has that running in the background, which can be kind of frightening. So you have to go in and disable the location services and the location history and Google mapping in your location for Android systems. But the systems are basically somewhat the same in that you have to go in and disable every app that you don't want to have access. Like I showed you, Uber had access to my camera. Now, Uber has to access where you are. If your location services are off, Uber can't find you. But you also give permission in the fine print for Uber to access your contacts. So they can send your contacts information about advertising, to access your camera. Don't know why they need that, but just guess what? By downloading the app, you're already given permission. Sarah, is there any more questions?
A lot of people would like a repeat and for you to show again. Maybe they were joining us a little late, but we have quite a few people watching us now. So maybe we can do another step-by-step, walk us through it.
I think the scariest thing to people that they might want to either see or don't want other people to see is that digital diary of where you've been. So we're going to go to that again. Go to settings, which is that little gear. Click on privacy. Click on location services. At the bottom of location services is system services. Click on that. Then you see a screen that says frequent locations. You want to make sure that's off. Off. If not, you're going to get something like this. And this is what we filmed earlier with our expert Adam Levin at his offices when he showed me this very frightening digital diary that I didn't know was there. Every place, I wasn't in the Bahamas, I was actually in Miami for spring break, but every place I was, going back 2 months. And then when you click on it, look what it does. It shows you how long I was at those places, like how long I was at the hotel, when I went to get coffee. Look, down to the exact minute where you are. So that's something that if your phone got in the wrong hands or somebody wanted to really spy on you, do you really want people to see that? I don't think you do. So that's what you do. You turn that off. And then you also have to click delete history. So I didn't want that on my phone anymore. So after I looked at all the places I've been, I went through and then I cleared it. Watch. Are you clear history? Click on clear history and you'll erase the whole thing. That also works on Android for our Samsung fans. Samsung has a better camera, I also agree. On Samsung, you go to location history, and then you can delete that. Works the same way. But a big note, folks, not only do you have to turn that off on your phone, you have to go through the apps that you're allowing to use your camera and use your microphone. Like, for example, I turned everything off, but my apps, like Uber, we're still using my location and my camera, and you have to physically turn that off if you want those off. Just keep in mind that a lot of things aren't going to work. One thing that we didn't get to mention in the piece was, do you guys use voice to text? I do that often just because I'm coordinating all the time, with pickups and with the kids' activities. If you use that little microphone to voice to text, and you're saying, hey, who's picking up such and such from Girl Scouts? This microphone is always on because it's waiting for your command. So it's listening, not necessarily recording. When it is doing dictation, where's that information going? It's going to the cloud. So unless you want, anyone who can see the cloud seeing what you're saying, you're going to want to turn your dictation services off if you're not using them. Just some ways to kind of protect yourself. The phone, for all its wonderfulness, is also kind of like a spy because it's operating as if it's a spy because it's keeping tabs on every place you are. Any more questions, Sarah?
I mean, we're getting a few people are wondering, is there any reason why this stuff should be on? And we've kind of talked about, depending on what apps you use in your lifestyle, you may need to have them on.
For example, Angry Birds works off of the camera. Like there's like a telepod portion, works off your camera, and it also works off your microphone. Do you ever use Shazam? When you put your phone up to hear a song, to figure out
it
identifies a song. In that case, Shazam has to access your microphone because it has to hear what. In order for the app to work, it has to hear what you're hearing. But some apps, like the flashlight app, don't have any reason at all to have to access your camera, your contacts. All it is used for is for third-party marketers to know where you shop, where you browse. Things that you like to do, because then they can target ads to not only you, to your friends, to sell you stuff. It's all about monetizing your private information. Adam Levin, our expert we interviewed, put it this way: it's digital data mining and you are the gold. But how many people do you want to access your gold, which is your children's pictures, your personal information, who you contact, what your voice commands are. You know, like if I say find falafel, I mean, it's not going to be too long before I get an ad from a falafel place, because somehow they heard what I was saying and they know I like falafel, and they're going to target an ad to my phone. You can limit that by limiting your pop-up ads, which I'm going to run you through right here. So Sarah, let's go back to settings. This is how you can limit the ads that follow you if you find that that's creepy. Go to settings, go to privacy, go to location services. At the bottom, oh, where did it go? It was advertising. They don't make this easy. Okay, so on privacy, scroll to the bottom. Don't click location services. Scroll to the bottom of privacy and hit advertising. Then you can enable limit ad tracking. That doesn't mean you're going to get less ads. It's going to mean you're going to get less ads targeted to where you are, which might make you feel less creepy if somebody's, you know, watching where you're shopping and you're walking past the shoe store and the shoe ad comes up, which can make people feel like they're being followed.
Yeah, no, I think we're getting a lot of feedback that this has been really helpful. And just so you guys know, if you're tuning in, if you feel like you missed anything, this video is going to be on Nina's page, and it'll also be on the ABC7 Facebook page, so you can always go back, rewatch the instructions, and there will also be Nina's full story on the website, abc7ny.com, so you can look for information there. And does anyone have any more questions?
One thing
yeah, go ahead.
Sarah, one thing I wanted, and thank you, Sarah Swiss, our digital producer, helping me with this. One of the things I wanted to mention, ways you can protect yourself are don't browse on public Wi-Fi, because the more you're on public Wi-Fi, the more different companies can see exactly where you're shopping for and what you're shopping for. So use a VPN, a private network to browse. That's also a great idea, because you want to protect your personal information and your credit card information. That should be what you're doing all the time. Also, try not to allow so much geotagging of your photos. You know, you have.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, everybody is guilty of oversharing. I myself am too. But the moment you do that, and people see, like for example, where your kids are, they know exactly where you're not, and that's at home. If you have an entire picture of your whole family at somebody's communion, and you're saying, "Here we are enjoying Gianna's christening her communion in Wyckoff," people know that you're not home. So you should be careful of oversharing, as in putting your kids' birthdays up and things like that. But as far as this location services goes, they don't make it easy, because really the gold is finding out what you're shopping for. So it's a lot easier to enable it than it is to disable it. As you see, you have to peel back a couple of layers on both the iPhone and the Android to make sure it's completely off. And then even when you think it's off, it's still on. So really read the fine print on everything you download on your phone, and protect yourself and protect your family. And the best way is to start with knowing what's on your phone and knowing how to disable your phone from the digital spies. Thanks everyone for tuning in. All that information is going to be on our Facebook page. We'll have a step-by-step tutorial of how exactly you can get rid of that nasty little digital log that shows everywhere you've been. Nobody needs to see that. Right, Sarah?
Right. Thank you so much, Nina.
All right, have a great weekend, guys.
Bye, everyone.